Hello friends, this video on locomotion and movement part 15 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So now we will talk about the next part of the axial skeleton, that is the vertebral column. So vertebral column is located on the dorsal side of the human body, that is towards the back side. In fact, what we call as backbone. Backbone is nothing but a part, it is located inside the vertebral column. So it is composed of 26 serially arranged units. Each unit is known as a vertebrae. So it is like this. So here in this picture you can actually see that the different units. So these units, similar units, there are total 26 of them. So the vertebral column, it starts from the base of the skull here and it extends up to the hip region. So from here till here. So that is the length of the vertebral column. So now let us look at the different regions of the vertebral column. Now the vertebral column is divided into the following regions and they are named based upon where they are located. So the first region is the cervical vertebra. So if you see, the topmost region of the vertebral column is known as the cervical vertebra, and this region is known as the cervical curve. Now this cervical curve has a total of 7 vertebrae. So there are actually 7 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. There are 7 vertebrae and this region is called the cervical curve. The first vertebra of the vertebral column is the atlas. So this atlas connects with the occipital condyles of the skull. So that is where it starts from. The entire story of vertebral column starts from here. Now each of these vertebrae, which we will be talking about now, all of them has a hollow central portion which is known as the neural canal, and this neural canal is that region through which the spinal cord passes. So let us look at the other regions. The next region is the thoracic vertebra. It is called thoracic because it is located in the thoracic cavity. So this portion is known as the thoracic cavity. So these are the thoracic vertebra, and there are a total of 12 vertebrae in the thoracic curve. In this region, a total of 12 vertebrae are present. Now this thoracic is formed by fusion of, these thoracic vertebrae, they are located in the chest region and they are less flexible. In fact, they are more stronger, less flexible due to the presence of ribs. So the ribs are also present like this, like a cage-like structure in the thoracic region. So because of the presence of the ribs, they are less flexible but more strong. Next is the lumbar vertebra. The lumbar vertebra, there are total 5 vertebrae and they are located below the thoracic cavity. So they are more flexible due to the lack of ribs. So the lumbar vertebra is more flexible. Therefore, you would have seen that near the waist region, these vertebrae are present. So the waist portion is more flexible when compared to the thoracic portion. Fourth one is the sacral vertebra. So sacral vertebra is a single vertebra. There is one single vertebra in the sacral region. This is the sacral vertebra, if you see. And this is a single bone which is formed by fusion of smaller bones during adolescence. So this vertebra is formed later. It is not present in newborn baby, but it forms later. And now the last vertebra, that is the coccygeal vertebra. So this is the last vertebra which is located here and it has also only one vertebra. So this region. Now often the sacral vertebra and the coccygeal vertebra both are considered as a part of the sacral curve. So these are the different regions of the body. So if you look at it here, in this portion you can actually see the presence of the ribs in the thoracic curve and it is not there in the lumbar curve. That is why thoracic curve is more flexible when compared to the lumbar curve. So these are the various regions of the vertebral column. Now, as I said, throughout this vertebral column, they have the center, a hollow region in the center, and through that passes the spinal cord. So this is like this. Through the center of this passes the spinal cord, and spinal cord is nothing but the backbone, because of which we are able to stand, we are able to sit. So what is the significance of having the vertebral column? It protects the spinal cord because it provides a central region and thus protects the spinal cord, and we all know how crucial spinal cord is because it is a part of the central nervous system. So it carries sensitive information. If the central nervous system stops working, a person cannot survive. Point of attachment for ribs. So if you see here, these ribs, they are attached to the vertebral column. So they are a point of attachment for them. Provides support to the head. So this vertebral column provides support to the head. So here this region, if you see, that is how it supports the head. Let us look at the next part of axial skeleton, that is the sternum. Now the word sternum, it is a Greek word which means chest. So this chest portion is known as the breastbone, or the bone of this chest portion is called the sternum. So basically this bone is the sternum. So it is a flat bone on the ventral side of thorax. So ventral side is the inner side, the front side. So this bone is the sternum. So if you look at it closely, this is the sternum. It is present along the midline of the thoracic cavity. So midline, this is the midline, so it is present along the midline. Stabilizes the thoracic skeleton. So if you see, it provides a kind of support to the ribs, the ribs and the sternum and the vertebral column. The vertebral column is present on the dorsal side. Sternum is present on the front side. So sternum on front side and vertebral column at the back side can support the structure of ribs, and that is how it forms the entire rib cage. So if you see, this is the front side of sternum and this one is present at the back side, the vertebral column, and these ribs is connected to the sternum on the front side and to the vertebral column on the back side. So that is how the ribs are stabilized. It protects internal organs of chest region. So what kind of internal organs? For example, heart, one of the most important organs of the chest region. So that means it can protect the internal softer organs. Now let us look at the last portion of the axial skeleton, that is the ribs. As I said, these are thin flat bone connected dorsally to vertebral column and ventrally to sternum. So back side they are connected to the vertebral column, and front side they are connected to the sternum. So this is how it is. So if you see the orange and green colored structure, they are the ribs. So front side it is the sternum and back side it is the vertebral column. Now total 12 pairs of ribs exist, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. There are total 12 pairs of ribs. Why pairs? One on this side and the one on other side. So that means the 12 pairs of ribs exist. The ribs, sternum and thoracic vertebrae, all of them together form the rib cage. Cage means like how you keep, you would have seen how the animals are present inside the cage. So cage is like a closed box kind of a structure which is made up of grills like this. So similarly, these ribs together form a cage-like structure, and inside this cage all the delicate organs are located. So that is why this is known as a rib cage, and the rib cage is formed by ribs obviously and the support from sternum and thoracic vertebrae on both front and back side respectively. So let us look at the different types of ribs. As I said, there are 12 pairs of ribs which exist. There are some ribs which are called true ribs. What is the meaning of true ribs? The first 7 pairs of ribs, the ones which are displayed in orange, they are the first 7 pairs of ribs which are called the true ribs. Why are they called true ribs? Because they are directly connected with sternum through hyaline cartilage. They are also directly connected to thoracic vertebra. So on the front side they are directly connected to sternum. So you can see they have direct point of contact with sternum through hyaline cartilage. Similarly at the back side they are directly connected to thoracic vertebra. So that is why they are called true ribs. The next type of ribs are the false ribs. So these false ribs are the 8th, 9th and 10th pairs of ribs. So 8th, 9th and 10th, the green ones are the false ribs. Why are they called false ribs? Because they are connected to sternum via the 7th rib. So if you see here, this point is connected only to the 7th rib. After 7th rib, the 8th, 9th and 10th are not directly connected to sternum. They are all connected to 7th rib, and the 7th rib in turn is connected to the sternum. So since they are not directly connected to the sternum, they are called false ribs. However, they are connected directly to thoracic vertebra. Backside, they are connected to the thoracic vertebra. So they are also known as vertebrochondral ribs. Since they are connected directly to the vertebral column, so they are called vertebrochondral ribs. And the last two ribs are the floating ribs. What is the meaning of that? That means the 11th and the 12th pairs of ribs which are not connected ventrally. That means the last two ribs, somewhat like this. So these two ribs, they are connected to the vertebral column at the back side, but on the ventral side, that is on the front side, they are not at all connected to the sternum. So these two ribs are known as the floating ribs. So these are the different types of ribs which form the rib cage. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.